Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is Phantom Panzer for the Atari 2600, published by Quell in 1983. Or it's Phantom Tank by Bitcorp. One or the other. They seem to be the same game. I'm guessing the difference is the region where the particular cartridge was released. I'm playing this cartridge on a Retron 77. I picked this game up for a few bucks at my local retro store, and the thing with this cartridge is, mine has two labels on it. I managed to peel back the top label, and it seems that there's a label beneath it for a completely different game by the same manufacturer. The game Sea Monster. So it seems that my cart was initially mislabeled, and then the correct label was stuck over top of it. Pretty neat, I think. Definitely unique. Now, I have to go out and find a copy of Sea Monster and figure out what that game is all about. There are two different game versions on this cart. Each one is for 1 or 2 players, so we've got a total of 4 variations. Games 1 and 2 are the basic game, and 3-4, the enemy tanks move faster. You're driving an armored car around a rainbow-colored maze to start. There's no logical reason to have rainbow colors in a maze that I can think of. I mean, this is supposed to be a wartime setting, and we're driving tanks and cars. Things are getting shot up, but honestly, I don't know how I want to style this level to make it look more appropriate for a war game. If it were all one color, like a military green or something, it might even seem stranger than it is now. So I guess I'm going to have to give the colors a pass on this one. I guess at least they were trying something different. In this game, you drive an armored car around a maze, and it's populated with tanks driving all around, shooting at you. You need to stay alive and protect your base at the bottom of the screen. Your base is this little sort of mound at the bottom. Now, shoot the tanks before they shoot you, or they make their way to your base. Also, don't run into tanks. You'll blow up every time you run into one. In this game, you can blow up a set amount of times. You can get destroyed, I think it's 5 times. But if they make it to your base at the bottom of the screen, no matter how many lives you have, if they get to your base, the game is over. In this game, your armored vehicle looks a little less like an armored transport and more like some sort of an alien creature, I think. At least it does to me. That's what we're working with. There are a bunch of enemy tanks on screen, and sometimes they overlap one another, so one tank that you're looking at theoretically might be 2 tanks. There's going to be a number at the bottom of the screen, and that'll let you know how many tanks you have to destroy in the level before you move on to the next one. I have to say there is a lot of tank flicker in this game. This is the standard Atari sprite limitations at play. This allows multiple enemies to be rendered on screen at almost the same time. In this one, the tanks are going to shoot at random, I think, and they appear to be on some sort of a schedule. They're driving around in some sort of pattern, I guess. You, on the other hand, you can shoot at will, but you can only have one projectile in the air at once. I think this is the biggest difficulty you're going to face in this game, and it kind of reminds me of the game Tron Deadly Discs. Having only one projectile at a time really sort of ups the stress of the game, because once you shoot, you're kind of helpless, and now you have to dodge more. I think what's nice about the maze game at the beginning, anyway, is that your vehicle doesn't fill up the whole corridor in the maze. When you're in a maze section in a corridor, you can drive to the top or the bottom of the hallway, and as a result, sometimes you can actually dodge incoming tank fire. So, being in the same relative path of the tank shooting at you, it's not necessarily a death sentence. You have some leeway in there. If you beat the first maze, the second stage is totally different. It's not a maze at all, really. It's this much larger open sort of maze. I guess you could say there are 2 sections. There's sort of an upper section and a lower section, but there's really not the same sort of layout. It's really just open. It's definitely more of a scramble, because the tanks can get to your base faster. If you manage to beat this level, you're going to move on to the third maze, which is another open world maze, really, another sort of open screen with some slightly different colorations. You beat this one, and you will actually cycle back and forth between levels 2 and 3 until you run out of lives or the game is over. It's 3 screens of variety for an Atari 2600 game, which is really nice, actually. Although some different shapes I think would have been great in some of the screens for longer playing sessions. Maybe if they took that first maze and they reused the level, or if they maybe made some slight adjustments to how the maze was laid out, and they could use that moving forward. I don't know, easier said than done, I guess. It's nice that there are plenty of tanks to shoot at, and it's great to be able to have a little bit of play in that maze level when you drive around. I don't know, something about being able to dodge and shoot a tank that's in the same part of the map, I think that's great. Well, that's all I have today for Phantom Panzer for the Atari 2600, or Phantom Tank, I guess, if that's the cart you have. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you on another video.